If they stick to someone, great, then they can chase them down and fantastic. But they don't really have great entire team picking potential. Like, they'll go for a team fight, great. If they win it, then they'll maybe kill 1 to 3 people, but they can't really mop up a team fight effectively. And especially when they have pretty good wave clear from heavy bot lane, it'll get to the situation where they'll still find it very difficult to go after those turrets. So I feel that's one of the biggest weaknesses of ONS's composition, but if they do commit to a hard team fight, like a Baron pit fight or like a Dragon pit fight, then they will just massively come out ahead.
Alright, so we are back in towards champion select, everyone picking up their champions as fast as the game will let them, because of course we had a placeholder last time around. So Mimer right now will be running that Mundo in the top lane, while Amin will be running the Shyvana in the jungle. And once again, I feel like the Shyvana and the Mundo combination might be a little bit too much to deal with for the heavy bot lane, where I'll almost forget the team sides myself, and we're just going to have to see, I assume.
Yeah, it's a little interesting. Like, Ziggs and also Riven on the team is not something you see too much, because Ziggs is often used against Riven as like a counter pick, and it will most likely be Riven in the top lane. That will be placed against, well, probably the Mundo, and that matchup is a little odd. Like, it can be massively explosive at the start of the game, and then just kind of do nothing, and then Mundo just kills Riven. Like, unless Riven builds up a massive advantage, which he can definitely do with this type of jungle being Vi, it's going to revolve around Talon doing a lot of work in all of these lanes, because Shyvana and Mundo can snowball rapidly out of control, and if those Vi ganks do not pay off, then Shyvana will eventually gradually get ahead of the opposing jungler, which is generally what she does, and then Talon will just fall off to the point where he can't do anything, or he engages and gets blown up.
Alright, so ladies and gentlemen, we will be heading into a quick commercial break. When we come back, ONS and the heavy bot lane will be taking it to the Rift, to the side who is going to go on towards that semi-final.
Hello and welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to EUS Challenger Series number 16 with the quarterfinals alongside Heavy Botlane and ONS. I am Pulse and I am joined by Nature.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Now, the casting is starting to take its toll on my energy levels, but we are just going to continue on and see what is going to happen here. Because we do have Cabochar, if I'm pronouncing that correctly, maybe looking to get a little bit of a stun down on maybe those members of ONS, but no one is actually giving the enemy the chance to get into range. And they will just be staring at each other from a distance as nothing really happens for now.
Yeah, as long as these players spot each other out, it is unlikely we'll see an engagement, but his star is being closed upon.
Death sentence lands toward him. He is not going to be able to survive this, or is he? Because he turns it around beautifully. He's still being chased, however, by Rallas, and Rallas is going to be able to pick up the first blood. Right now, he's turning his attention around towards Hiva, and Hiva will be able to escape. So that is first blood being picked up for ONS, as we do have Cabochar actually being hooked in once again. Takes a whole lot of damage, being forced to flash himself, and that is 1-0, and a whole lot of fat lashes being burned.
Yeah, so very close to it being a 3-0 that early on to the game. We saw that last game and how devastating it was for the opposing team of Eternity, who did come back and win the game. Sorry, spoiler, but with Tallow and in fact 3 flashes going down all over the board onto the team of ONS, it's going to already cripple their laning phase.
Yeah, it certainly is. Right now, Istari facing off against that Moopsie in the middle lane. Now, I'm not too sure how this Ziggs kill lane is going to be, so I'm just going to try and keep my eye on that for the duration of this match, of course, as we were talking about this a little bit in the break, Pulse, but we thought, or yeah, we both thought actually that the Mundo Shyvana was a little bit silly to let them both through in the ban phase.
Yeah, Mr. Rowell is actually taking a couple hits in the bot lane.
Oh yeah, that might be trouble for him, as he does get out in the end. Sorry, you were saying?
Yeah, basically Mundo Shyvana is so strong right now, if you pick them and just pick a random assortment of champions, you win the game. And another hook lands onto Nardius.
Yeah, Nardius taking a whole lot of damage. This is going to be dangerous for him, as Mikcha is trying to put down as much damage as he can, but he doesn't quite manage to make it lethal for Nardius just yet. And Nardius lives to see another day.
Yeah, I really want to talk about this Shyvana and Mundo pickup, but basically they are just so strong, it doesn't really matter what you pick alongside them. They just do so much damage, and sometimes you'll pick like a champion like Shyvana or just something to supplement their ability to get into the fight, but as long as they're there, they just have so much damage just by building tanky that they can 1 versus 2 by themselves, and then when you have 2 of them, then they just like 2v4 and the rest of your team can easily collapse on whoever is like the sacrificial lamb to just keep them alive. So they're going to find it difficult in terms of team fighting, that being heavy bot lane, to do very much, because ONS, as soon as they get the 2 bruises of Shyvana and Mundo into the fight, then they win. It's basically just down to how well they can disengage, and they do have that. They have Hiva on his Shyvana, as we saw flash in the mid lane.
Oh yeah, Talon might be in trouble. He's not quite going down yet. Meanwhile, that bottom lane, however, Hiva taking a whole lot of damage right now. Mr. Rallis going down, however, to Nardius, as he turns it around beautifully. Nardius will be surviving that one, and Mixa is being forced to back away right there, so that is a kill picked up for heavy bot lane, and they are going to be content with that.
Yeah, huge commitment onto Hiva, and then just massive turnaround from Nardius. It was just like overcommitment, and they punished it. It was as simple as that. So now we just have to kind of look towards like how the pace of the game is going, and neither team necessarily get like significantly ahead of the other very quickly, but Amin is in the top lane.
Yeah, Flame Breath does connect. He gets the red buff proc on towards Cabochar, and Cabochar, if I'm not butchering his name too much right now, will be able to survive with the use of those broken wings, as Talon right now is maybe looking to get a little bit of a gank himself right now. Mimer taking a little bit too much poke for his liking maybe, as he hasn't hit level 6 quite yet, so he will not be able to have that sadism getting that regeneration in there.
Yeah, so basically this top lane matchup, Riven needs to get ahead in the early game. I mean, that's very typical of Riven versus anyone. That's how her general matchup goes. She's a snowball champion. But when she's against Mundo, and Mundo will just get further and further ahead, as we have an engagement in the bot lane.
Yeah, but meanwhile, however, in that top lane, Mimir getting ganked on towards his turret, and in that bottom lane, Hiva taking so much damage. He goes down, not quite yet, however, as Mixa will be following that one up and killing him. So that is a 1-for-1 trade in that bottom lane. In the top lane, however, we did see Mimir die.
Yeah, Hiva didn't need to get caught right there. He didn't need to go for that fight, and he may have just come out ahead. He was behind the Flame Chompers and walked forwards into them. And then they had to go for that fight on top of it. In the top lane, Mimir just comes back in.
Yeah, he uses the teleport, puts some damage down on Tallow, and, well, just laughs and, well, returns to farming. There really isn't too much to it for Mimir at this point. He isn't as tanky as he's going to be, obviously, because the Mundo is going to be extremely tanky to the point, up to the point where he's starting to be a pain to deal with. But at this point, you can actually see it happening already, where he's just taking on 2 champions at once and, well, making it hard for both of them.
Yeah, so heavy bot lane just needs to snowball the early game. That's essentially the only place in the game where they have the lane slightly stronger than the opponent of ONS, because as soon as you start itemizing on Shyvana and Mundo, and we keep harping on about them, but basically that's how the game is going to revolve around them. Chabochard makes a very aggressive play onto Mimir, but isn't able to cut him down quite fast enough.
We do have that wing slash being used right there, but now he's in all kinds of trouble. Amin will be getting stunned up. Cavendish trying to get out desperately, get some damage down on Mimir, but then again he was encircled between that turret and those 2 champions, so he is not going to, he wasn't be able to get out of there alive, and Mimir picks himself up a kill. Good going here for ONS.
Yeah, indeed. And again, we do have a transition from heavy bot lane onto towards the dragon. So at least they do pick that one up. Tallow gets hooked, but Mixer doesn't have any follow-up on top of that as well. So again, ONS are in good shape in the sense that they have kills, they are hanging on, and they can just continue to itemize. And heavy bot lane, yes, they're winning, but they need to win harder. And it seems like a really stupid thing to be like, well, they need to win as hard as possible. But that's kind of their composition. Nardius gets caught.
Death sentence was used right there, of course, as right now they are desperately trying to get out of there. Nardius is proving to be a little bit too much to handle at this point for Rallis and Mixture to bite off, and well, everything just returns to quote-unquote normal as Mixture and Rallis will be pushing that lane out and showing their presence towards Hiva and Nardius to show, to tell them, hey, we're here as well. And he does manage to hook Hiva. Hiva is not going anywhere because the Flame Chompers are there. We do have that Dark Passage being used. Nardius in real trouble here. They might be able to get this kill. Nardius being forced away. Rallis taking a whole lot of damage using that Zep. Great dodge right there out of Nardius. And he is taking so much damage. Rallis gets locked up once again, rather. And that is going to be the end of that.
Yeah, so a little bit of action, but you know, nothing significant, and we'll see both of these laners still staying in. Mixer, oh, Hiva will bleed out in the bottom lane, and the ultimate comes across. Well, doesn't come anywhere close, actually. Might hit someone on the spawn pad who's no one actually recalled. So 4-3, and again, these just stray kills from ONS. It's not necessarily needed, but will put them in better shape. Oh, Nardius, you do not want to be sticking around. And there wasn't even time to play-by-play that one there, Nature.
No, there surely wasn't. Right now is Tari rotating over towards that bottom lane to maybe defend that turret, but Amin and Rallis alongside Mixer might be a little bit too much to handle for Istari. Now, meanwhile, on that top lane, actually, we do have, once again, a gank coming out of Tallow, who did manage to finish off Mimir in the end, so that is going to be a little bit of damage coming down on towards that top turret. But I do feel like Oinkers never sleep. Still are ahead in this one.
Yeah, like heavy bot lane really need Riven to do well. They really need all of their lanes to do well, but specifically Riven. A gank in the mid lane though, and he just flashes on out. But if Riven falls behind, then Mundo will just sit at top lane, he will continue to push, and there is nothing that the team of heavy bot lane can do about it. But with Riven still able to deal Mundo, that is the biggest thing about this game. That's the big linchpin, as Amin gets caught.
Yeah, he uses the Dragon's Descent to get out there. Super Mega Death Rocket, or Super Inferno Bomb rather. That is a pain with those of the two of those in one game. So he does manage to get out of there with the help of Moopsy and his ultimate. So flash being used right there. Tallow might have been looking for a gank there, but he really did not go in the end. And Kawashar and those two others will be picking up that middle turret for the first turret in this game.
Yeah, trade-off in the bottom lane, but pause timer will come out. Nardius and Mr. Rallis were going toe-to-toe, and I'm pretty sure this trade will carry on going even after the pause comes out, so it might be worth just keeping an eye on that one. But at the moment, like, heavy bot lane really just need to start picking up the pace. And it's very easy for ONS just to stall this out, specifically because of like how the meta is at the moment and how the pace of the game is. Games will typically go on for at least half an hour, and then Mundo and Shyvana really come into their own when they start itemizing and when they start just getting levels. So you can't stop people from getting levels unless you zone them all the way back to their base and away from the minions. Again, engage in the bottom lane.
Zap connects on towards Nardius. He is going to be in real trouble when the death sentence is being used, but he doesn't quite manage to use it. Nardius turns it around by flashing in on towards Rallis. Now Miksha is in trouble as Hiva is looking to finish him off with those Stranglethorns. Does manage to get a good knock-up, but that really isn't going to be enough to finish off Miksha.
Big issue though in the bottom lane is that Fresh is picking up all of these kills. Great, he's hitting like the spike in gold just so he can pick up the Sightstone, but like Zyra has also gotten so much gold that she's done the same, also because of that tower going down. And Jinx is slowly falling behind in the bottom lane as Starry finds himself Moops.
Yeah, Moopsy is not going to be able to get out of this as he goes down. That real trouble for Istari right there, as he, well, managed to blow him up quite quickly.
Yeah, indeed. So we see Chavachard still in the top lane, and Mundo is being zoned away from the farm. That's basically the best possible thing that heavy bot lane could hope for right now. Like, they just need Riven to keep on top of him. So Vi really hasn't had the influence she's wanted in this game. Top lane is basically far enough ahead right now, and Ziggs is doing well against Kayle naturally, so it's that bot lane she just needs to kind of just push further ahead. They still need an answer to the just the fact that they have those two big tanky bruisers. So the fact that Riven is still on top of Mundo at this stage means that at least they have one answer for.
Alright, so meanwhile we do have Amin actually rotating over towards that middle lane to maybe get a gank out on towards Istari. Istari might be in trouble here. Dragon's Descent comes down, Satchel Charge being used, but is that going to be enough? He does manage to get himself out of there. Right now Tallow is in trouble as he is facing off against two people rather, as he is being forced to flash and use that Volt Breaker in the end. Right now Amin focusing over towards Istari. Istari is, Amin is closing out that distance as he does get the Flame Breath out, but that is not enough to finish him off.
Yep, so Dragon's heading up in 45 seconds, and I would actually like both of these teams to start fighting over it. Like, they both have pretty good team fights, and Amin just pushes Astari away from the turret, and just allowing Moopsy to get more damage on it. As long as they can, if they can pick up a kill onto the middle turret or the bottom turret, it basically always secures Dragon, because they can easily engage on it. Mima drops low in the top lane, Chawachard cannot go any further, but at least he's bullying him out.
Mimer is, of course, as you said, really, well, he is a little bit dependent on that farm, and the best possible thing Saboteur can do at this point is actually denying him that farm. So we do have Istari rotating over towards that blue buff, and he will be gifted that one over to him. So he's going to be happily running the extra cooldown reduction and mana regeneration, of course. As well, if we were to take a look at that farm, we can see that Mimer in that top lane is sitting on 82 compared to the Riven, who is sitting on 112. That is well, fairly well done by the heavy bot lane team.
Yeah, so heavy bot lane's looking for this gank on actually the bot lane, and they need a kill so they can go onto the dragon, but I feel like they're strong enough as a composition, or rather need to be strong enough as a composition, that they can challenge all objectives and be the ones kind of instigating that, because at the stage where they can't, then they just kind of lose because they will get outscaled by, what a surprise, Shyvana and Mundo. So it's just becoming a farming frenzy right now, exactly what we saw in the very first game of the day, and that just, it massively favors the team of ONS.
Hiva gets locked up by the death sentence. Super Mega Death Rocket comes out. He is going down first, but now Rallis is in trouble as he gets exploded by Tallow. And Miksha desperately trying to get out of there. He gets in towards turret range as we do have that Mega Inferno Bomb coming out as well. Tallow using that Volt Breaker to catch up to Miksha. Miksha is surely not going to be able to survive this as he is flashing in the end, but he was hit by Istari, so he will not be able to execute himself as Miksha is desperately still looking to get out of their death sentence. Doesn't quite connect on towards a minion, and Tallow will be taking him down. That is a shutdown on his support.
Cabochard.
Oh yeah, in the top lane we do have Cabochard going 1 versus 1 against Mimer, but Amin shows himself, and that is the end of Cabochard.
Yeah, so 8-8 right now, and 2k advantage to the team of heavy bot lane, which is good, but not far enough ahead. They're going to pick up the dragon as well, which is also going to help. But again, we keep talking about it, but it is a major factor in this game. Like, Mundo and Shyvana are going to get to the point where if they just go for a brute force play in terms of a team fight or just go for a tower objective, they'll get so tanky that they can literally do anything. Zyra is going to be one of the biggest factors in kind of stopping that from happening, because they have that kind of disengage, and we'll probably be seeing Fresh pick up like the Talisman of Ascension so that they have another way to get into a fight. Because at the moment it's just Fresh landing a straight hook onto someone, which will get them into a brawl or an objective. But at the moment it's just them conceding it because that's what they need to do. So right now it's just ONS trying to stall this out, getting kills where they can, but they don't need to do anything fancy.
No, they certainly do not. And meanwhile, that middle lane Mixer has rejoined his marksman, and Hiva and Nardius will be forced to keep a safe distance because, of course, they do not want to get hit by that death sentence. That is surely going to be the end of them if they do get hit. So Mixer and Rallis will be keeping the pressure on and forcing Hiva and Nardius to stay under that turret. But Tallow is actually heading over towards that bottom lane. He might be able to pull something off, but I highly doubt it since he has been spotted already.
Yeah, so already we see heavy bot lane itemizing efficiently. Like the Last Whisper's been picked up by Riven, and usually you wouldn't pick up Last Whisper until at least second item or third item because armor is just not going to be itemized that quickly. But the fact that you have this tanky lineup, they will be itemizing armor almost immediately. Like Mundo, who's picked up Sunfire Cape, most likely Shyvana will follow the same sort of route, both of them picking up Ninja Tawai, and also Kale can pick up something like Zhonya's. So picking up the early Last Whisper and then going for other raw damage items makes way more sense on Riven. Likewise, the rest of the team, like Spirit of the Lizard Elder, is actually fairly uncommon on Vi, even though it synergizes so incredibly well with their character, but because they need an early game, mid game win, that's exactly what they're doing with their items.
Now, keep our eyes on Tallow because he is in that top lane. Might have been looking for a gank there, but I believe he sniffed Amin out right there as Amin was looking to join his top laner Mimer and support him if needed. Mimer might have been a little bit too much to handle for Cabochard and Tallow if they want to kill him here. Amin, once again, looking to maybe gank here, and here he goes. Dragon's Descent being used, Cabochard being knocked up once, and for the second time as well, as Amin might be looking to finish off Tallow here, but he is being forced to flash out. Tallow is surely going to go down here. Mimer right now trying to chase down Cabochard, as he is not going to be able to survive that. He did manage to pick up Amin in the end, so that is a 1 for 2, but I don't feel that was actually too good. Meanwhile, that bottom lane, we do actually have a teleport coming down of Mimers as Hiva gets blown up. That is a 1 for 2, but Mimer not quite done yet. Nardius is in trouble here, but Nardius looking to turn this one around. Mimer rather not in the best position, and that is a triple kill for Nardius. Great play.
Mimer literally just came down to die to Nardius. He was trying to mop up, but Nardius picking up a triple kill has really just put heavy bot lane back in the advantage. Well, not just back in the advantage, but significantly ahead, which is exactly what they need right now. Dragon is not up as an objective, but the bottom tower down, the middle tower down, means they can start clumping up, going for fights when they're in a group, and that just increases and amplifies their effectiveness significantly. And there's very little wave clear from the team of ONS. Where they thrive is in team fights or being on the aggression. If they're on the defensive and they're trying to defend turrets, it's basically just Jinx with the wave clear. Because if the Bruisers can't get in range because they're being pummeled by the poke from Ziggs, then they just cannot defend turrets. So as long as heavy bot lane are on the offensive, then they should continue to keep the momentum because there's nothing holding them back.
In that top lane, Shabashar will be picking up that turret, and that is no real trouble for him. Now he's looking to pressure Mimer a little bit, but Mimer, as to be expected, is a little bit too tanky for Shabashar to deal with. Now hold that thought for a second, because we do have Moopsie to deal with Shabashar here. Shabashar taking a whole lot of damage. Great ultimate right there out of Moopsie, and that is going to save Mimer and destroy Shabashar.
Indeed, Chapachard is sticking the top lane when he doesn't necessarily have to. I would just like to see heavy bot lane just being more aggressive with the rotations. Amin will take that one away.
Yeah, as we do have the satchel charge being used, Amin being knocked back. Talon desperately trying to get out. Uses a good vault breaker to increase that distance between him and Amin. So that is the end of that. And they do manage to get the red buff.
Yeah, in fact, Shyvana didn't pick that one up. Like, I saw the smite go down and just assumed he got it, but Talon just outsmited him right there. So, picking that one away, and just a defensive play from Talon, not even using the flash either. So, they still have those cooldowns available to them, and now the rotation is in fact coming in from ONS. Mimer will find himself in the bottom lane. Smart warding will keep them safe, and we'll need to see a very fast rotation to keep this tower alive.
Yeah, so they are looking to pressure this tower a whole lot. Talo is heading over there. We'll make it a 4 versus 3, which might be still difficult to deal with on the side of heavy bot lane. Here comes Mimer, but here's Talo. Great knock-up. Great lock-up by Hiva, as he does manage to get one. Right now, Amin goes down as well. Talo looking to still pressure Mixa and Rallis here. Flash Vault Breaker will knock up Rallis. Rallis being slowed continuously. And here's Nardius. Gets a good couple of hits on him, but Rallis was ulted, and he does go down in the end. So that is a couple of kills versus none on the other side, and Shabashar isn't quite done yet, doesn't quite get the stun off, gets locked up, takes a whole lot of damage. Box came down, Shabashar goes down to Moopsie. Great turnaround, and that was maybe a little bit of a consolation prize.
Yeah, so 3-in-1 trade, again, exactly what heavy bot lane need. They're going to translate this into another turret and another objective, so as long as they keep snowballing like this, they're in really good shape. It was a little odd to me that ONS are being so aggressive. Like, I just expected heavy bot lane to be the ones instigating the aggression, but in fact they're reacting to over-aggression from ONS. Like, they do not need to go for fights. In fact, they can't really go for fights because their effectiveness comes from their late and mid-game, late-game ability. And as a result, they just keep getting caught.
Moopsie uses that divine intervention on the intervention just on himself. We do have a death sentence. Great use of that on towards Nardius. Nardius being forced to flash. Great super mega death rocket will finish him off. That is a shutdown. Talon now being chased down. He is not going to be able to survive that. That is a double kill for Mimer. That makes it 3-4-0. And I don't believe... Oh, we did actually have the dragon going down. That did go down to heavy bot lane in the end. But is it worth it? I don't think so.
Well, in the case of that one, I kind of just have to eat my words. It was just all of the ultimates being down from the team of heavy bot lane, which just allowed them to go for an effective fight. Because, like ONS, what makes them incredibly strong is they do not need their cooldowns to be efficient. They just need to have their standard cooldowns available, and then they'll just go for a fight. Chavo though, almost instantly taking down Nigza, and Ignite may still do that.
No, it will not right now. Shabashar not quite done yet. Mimer is being chased down, and he will go down in the end. Now Amin getting knocked up. Shabashar looking for the double kill. Amin surely going down. That is a double kill. Shabashar continuing on towards Rallis. He doesn't quite get hit by the death sentence, as we do have the Dark Passage coming out. That is going to be a triple kill. Rallis is in real trouble, but he is under the turret, so he is going to get that shut down on towards Shabashar.
The game of everyone being too aggressive, and the dragon went down, they got mopped up, then they just pushed down the middle turret and didn't really need to, and then got mopped up, and now the dragon, in fact the Baron will be the point of contention for the team of heavy bot lane. It was just unnecessary plays from both of these teams, but it will eventually work from ONS for heavy bot lane. We'll see if they overextend once again, and then also get picked up.
Oh, that was a really, really close super mega death rocket that almost connected on towards the Baron, but then again, great smite coming out of Talo. which he has shown earlier. Mimer looking to chase down Hiva here, as he has been found by Moopsie already. Moopsie getting hit by the Super Mega Inferno Bomb, Mega Inferno Bomb rather, as he doesn't quite go down to that yet because he has used his intervention. Mimer looking to chase down Hiva once again. That is a 1-for-0 for now, as they did manage to take down Istari in the end. Mimer just showing himself and scaring away some of those members. Mixout might be looking for a hook here, doesn't quite land it, and they will be backing away.
Yeah, indeed. So with the Baron down and indeed on the team of heavy bot lane, then they can be aggressive, but on the back of that, the tower has already gone down, and as soon as they leave an objective open like a tower, then Jinx will just take it down almost instantly. And we said this about the last game as well, and it's still relevant because he just does so much damage in a short amount of time. Yes, they picked up the Baron, but they weren't able to rotate between these lanes fast enough, and they lose 2 towers for it. And because they can't necessarily be aggressive with their Baron buff and be so far ahead that they can just tank down the turret and take it out immediately, ONS are rapidly coming out ahead. They're trying to make a timing call into mid lane, and we'll basically just have to see if ONS can get there in time.
Yeah, we surely do. They are desperately trying to recall here, and they are looking to recall as fast as possible. Mixa are now defending this turret all alone versus 4 members, as we do have Moopsie actually rejoining him. He is trying to put as much pressure down as he can. Trabachar rather taking a whole lot of damage, but Mimer is here. He is way too tanky to deal with at this point, and he just scares them away. They did manage to actually pick up the turret, so that is a good thing they got going for them.
Yeah, indeed. So they did pick up the turret, but I doubt they can go any further. The only reason they could pick that up was because they made a good timing push onto it, and now that everyone's there, they can't carry on. Because if they do get initiated on, even with Baron buff, they will probably still lose the team fight. And at the moment, they are significantly ahead in that sense. Halal finds himself Mixer.
Yeah, he is getting knocked up, as we do have the Stranglethorns coming out. Mixa desperately trying to get out. Amin will be getting out as well. So no kills just yet so far, as everyone survives. We do have Shabashar with that Wind Slash, doing a little bit of damage on Mixa, but he is a little too tanky to go down because of that Wind Slash. So the bouncing bombs will be getting in here continuously. And now it is heavy bot lane's turn to start sieging here. And of course, they will be quite successful at that because they do have that Baron buff.
Yeah, and they have a lot of poke on top of that, but they just can't quite damage the turret. Heavy bot lane have to either nuke someone down and detonate them instantly, otherwise the overtime damage and sustained engagement will start coming in from ONS. And as a result, they just have to back off. They cannot make lasting damage happen, but the fact that ONS have pushed themselves outside of the base and Amin being about down to half HP might be the fight that they want.
Mimer gets caught here, gets knocked back by the Vault Breaker. He is he really needs to get out of here, but is he going to be able to? No, he is not. That is a huge tank removed on the side of that ONS, and I just think that we might have heavy bot lane trying to capitalize on that by maybe taking down that turret, because Mimer isn't going to be able to form that front line anymore. But then again, we do have Amin, who might just be able to do so.
Yeah, the wave clear hasn't necessarily disappeared, but it means that at least Munna will not be able to zone away that front line anymore, and they've got the engagement.
Yeah, Moopsie might just get deleted instantly. He is forced to flash in the end. Amin goes in. He doesn't quite go down, or will he? Because, yeah, the Ignite will be able to finish him off. And that is yet another kill here being picked up by ONS, or by the heavy bot lane, sorry about that. And they will just be continuing this siege. Or will they? Because they are looking to back away just for now and maybe steal some of those jungle camps. And, well, I think they have to be quite content with what they have accomplished so far.
Yeah, it was a little over-aggressive from Chavochard. Like, he didn't need to go that deep. And, like, Riven does not necessarily want to be your initiator, especially when you have Vi on your team as well. Like, maybe they're trying to save the Vi ultimate for their priority target, but by having Chavochard initiate when he's one of your biggest damage dealers, like, he just gets blown up instantly, because he does not have Guardian Angel yet. He doesn't have any defensive stats. Basically, you just build AD on Riven, and it translates into sustainability because of Valor, her E, but because that's not enough to tank through like a 5-man team. So after that, they couldn't go any further. It's difficult for them to start sieging these turrets without getting themselves a pick beforehand, and that's their major issue even when they're so far ahead.
Alright, so Baron will be coming back up in 2 minutes time. That is surely going to be a very, very big contention point for both teams, as we do have Moopsy actually picking up that bottom tier 1 turret, so that is, well, a little bit of extra gold right there for that team. But that might just mean we will see that that heavy bot lane is just going to cruise down that middle lane, and only Amen and Ralez are actually here to defend it. We still have Moopsy actually pushing on in that bottom lane. He's not giving up quite yet. Amen trying to defend that middle, that middle lane as Nardius gets out of there. Great use of all of those skills in that middle lane. Oh, Super Mega Death Rocket came through. Istari took that one to the face. Mega Inferno Bomb came through, and that is going to be deleting Amin. As right now they are trying to catch on towards Mimer. Mimer is forced to flash Tallow out of there. Right now Nardius doing work, and they will be able to take down that inhibitor.
Extremely good damage juggling, but that was 4 versus 5. Kale decided to carry on pushing under the pretense that his team could at least stall them from going any further, but Mima is the only one left alive. Finally, Kale has come back. She's going to do some major mopping up.
Yeah, she does manage to get Zyra first, but Cabochard is forcing him to go down almost instantly. That is 1 kill being picked up. That is a double kill for Nardius right there, and that is going to be the game just like that. We do have the GGs coming out, and heavy bot lane will be taking game number 1.
Yeah, indeed, and they played that perfectly. They just had to keep snowballing the game, because as soon as they started to lag behind the curve, then the Shyvana pickup, as we keep on talking about,